I should be throwing the bash. I need a woman who'll treat me right. I need a woman who love to squeeze me tight. I need a woman. I need a woman tonight. I need a woman I can call my own. She got the love the blues and she'll buy me home. She'll tie me up at night and make me say when the sun comes up we'll do it all again. I need a woman who love to squeeze me tight. I need a woman who wanna treat me right. I need a woman. I need a woman tonight. Well, my days are numbered and I'll tell you why. All the pretty girls keep walking on by, looking and smiling and winking to me. I got a woman who won't let me be. I need a woman who will squeeze me tight. I need a woman who will treat me right. I need a woman tonight. I need a woman, yes, I need a woman. Looking for a woman, yes, got to have a woman. Oh, I need a woman, I need a woman tonight. Trash and stock arrangements, paying our dues, scraping for corn and rock good blues. Band is kicking, playing it tight, all getting high till the morning light. Wielding my axe all night long, selling my soul for the price of a song. Any inspiration comes my way, fades like a dream by the break of day. Working my way throughout the night, moving through the shadows and ducking the light. Side scraps, hardball lights grow low, screaming out the high notes, losing control. Moving through the shadows late Friday night, guitar burning, holding back the light. Playboys and gals changing back in the suits, ducking the light, the last pull from a hooch, cleaning the streets, hosing the trunks, sleeping it off in the back of the truck. Working my way throughout the night, moving through the shadows and ducking the light. Working my way throughout the night, moving through the shadows and ducking the light. the Zach Waldman Show. We're live. Miss B's the first one in the room. Hello, Miss B. How are you being? To be or not to Miss B? That is a gorgeous girl. And here we are, man. I had to really, I think I'm just smoking way too much pot because it's just been feeling it in my chest and stuff. And I was like, didn't this happen before? And I needed to take a few days off. So I'm doing the edible thing tonight instead of smoking. I drank about 50, it's 100 milligram THC drink, Pineapple Express. It's supposed to be 10 doses of 10 milligrams apiece, but I usually drink the whole thing. I drank about half of it. Let's see how I feel, and then I'll drink the other half. You're not great, doing better from hearing and seeing me. Well, that's sweet of you to say. I'm sorry you're not doing great. Nobody really is, I don't think, unless you're a banker or a politician. If you're super rich and you're continuing to live your life like you always have, and continuing to eat in restaurants and paying all your bills, and then you're fine. But everybody else is fucked, and I'm right there with you, Miss B. That's why on this show we try to have a good time. Try not to think about all the things that suck. Got a story right out of the gate for you. Thought this was kind of interesting. I haven't read it yet. I'm sniffing, sorry. Let's do it. And I don't know, man. I can always tell at the start of a show. Well, usually I can tell, oh, this show's going to suck. Like, sometimes it's not me. Sometimes I'm like, I'm really into this, but there's nobody here, and there's just an energy. Other times sometimes I think it's going to suck, and it's good. Who knows? Check it out. From the New York Post, Helen Viola Jackson, voila. America's last known Civil War widow, dead at 101. Only 10 years older than my father. That is so crazy to think. Because my dad's 91. It's just so crazy to think that somebody 10 years older than my dad, last known Civil War widow. It's always sad to see somebody struck down in the prime of her life at 101 years old. Horrible, horrible tragedy. Why her, Lord? Why not take someone who's already lived a full life? Anyway, Helen Viola Jackson, she was living in Webco Manor. Ooh, is that the company that makes those little fishing poles I had as a kid? Oh, that was Zebco. It's a nursing home in Marshfield, Missouri. She died on December 16th, actually. She was married to Private James Bolin, who fought with the 14th Missouri. I can get this pop-up off of here. He fought with the 14th Missouri Cavalry and F Company, the FU Company. She was 17 and he was 93 in September of 1936. What? She was 17 years old and she married a 93-year-old? All right, it's starting to make more sense now. Their relationship began when Jackson's father volunteered her to help Bolin with his chores on her way to school. By the way, this is also puts into perspective, like, when I think about how wacky my dad is. He's 91. I go, well, Jesus, look at the kind of things that were going on in the country at that point. It's a whole different world. My dad was born in 1929. So when he was 7 years old, there's a 17-year-old marrying a 93-year-old. My dad, being 7 years old, was closer in age to her than her husband. My dad was like, hey, you're only 10 years older than me. I'm 7. Let's get married. Anyway, Bolin didn't want to accept charity, so he decided to ask Jackson to marry him in order to provide for her future and for her to collect his union pension, according to the organization. See, he died in June of 1939. Jackson never remarried, didn't have any children, also never collected her husband's pension. She didn't publicly share she was married to a Civil War veteran until 2017. Mr. Bolin really cared for me, she said in an interview with Our American magazine in Missouri. He wanted me to have a future, and he was so kind.
What a fucking world, man. I Hey, what's up, Lizzie? How you doing? Ah, goddamn it. Wait a minute, I hit the right button. I'm telling you, it was lit up. What happened there? I'm telling you that was not I'm gonna double check, but I hit the button, it lit up, and it was the Lizzie button. It's literally labeled Lizzie. So scene two. Yeah, that's the right one. I'm doing it again. I don't know what happened there. No, man. I have no idea how that happened. I'm telling you, I looked down and the button lights up. I don't know why it played Jordan's. You're definitely Lizzie. Swapping lives instead of swapping wives. Like, seems like a kind of a slow news day. I know the Georgia runoff thing's too close to call. This is funny. Here, let me share my screen with you. I really need to figure out if I'm mentally ill or just a giant piece of shit. Pretty good. I would say the fact that you're asking that question means that you're probably just a giant piece of shit. Tell Donald I want him to know it was me. I don't get it. Have you been doing your regular live schedule? I don't think I've been getting the notifications. I didn't do anything New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. But Miss B, you got to explain this to me. I don't get the meme. I don't know who that is. I don't get it. Sorry. So please explain it to me, so I don't have to try to figure it out. Yeah, I saw every episode of Game of Thrones, but who's? I know. Okay, I, but who's she? Who's the woman in the meme? I didn't do a show Thursday or Friday, Lizzie. I did one last night. No, I tried actually doing one earlier in the day, like last week. I tried doing one at like 7 p.m. And I thought you were going to be so thrilled and all because it was earlier, but nobody showed up. Apparently, my audience is a late audience, so I'm just doing it late now. So 9:30, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Fuck, we might do midnight sometime. Who knows? The queen in the show overthrew someone. So this lady turned the tide in Georgia for the Dems. No, I knew the Queen of Jesus Christ. I knew the Game of Thrones reference. I didn't know that this lady turned the tide in Georgia for the Dems. So thank you for that. I don't know who she is, and I don't know how she turned the tide. All I know is they said that the race is too close to call. Oh, you think she leaked the? Okay, so you don't know either. You're saying it's a masterpiece. You don't even know who the fuck she is. You're like Juan. No wonder you're always defending him. Let's see. Oh, is it Abrams? Is that what's her face? Stacey Abrams, I guess. So all right, let's see. We're gonna have to figure it out. What did Stacey Abrams? Let's see. This is from Obi-Wan Kenobi. Damn, that's a good one, Lizzie. What do we got here? Georgia runoff election updates. Warnock declares victory. Loeffler isn't conceding his votes remain to be counted. All eyes are on Georgia. Pair of Senate runoff races. Tuesday will determine which party controls the Senate. David Perdue takes on John Ossoff. Kelly Loeffler faces Raphael Warnock. Democrats need Ossoff and Warnock to win the Senate, to give the Senate a 50-50 split, rather, which would mean Kamala Harris would be the tie-breaking vote. If just one of them holds onto their seat, the Senate would remain in GOP control. By the way, the country normally doesn't like it when one party has all three branches of government. I mean, not all three branches of government. You know what I meant? The Senate, the House, the executive. Obviously, you don't get the judiciary. Okay, so Warnock declares victory. Who do they need again? They need Democrats need Ossoff and Warnock's declaring victory. Despite the race still being too close to call, some Democrats are already congratulating Warnock. Let's see. Here's Stacey Abrams. Last January, I endorsed my dear friend in his quest to serve. Soon, he will take those August halls and cast votes as a leader with courage, justice, and integrity. So, yeah, I guess Stacey Abrams, okay. So, yeah, Stacey Abrams is a Georgia person. That's why. But I'm wondering, in what way did she influence things? I don't know. Why? How did you rope me into this? I don't give a fuck about this. This is exactly the kind of politics shit. I'm yelling at nobody, by the way. I'm not yelling at any particular person. I'm just saying. I see how you get stuck. You're not even trying to look at political shit, and you just click on one thing, and then it leads to another. One meme led to me wasting my life's energy on this Georgia Senate runoffs. Like, it's going to make a fucking difference either way. None of these politicians care about us. They're all garbage. They should all be fired. Fuck them all. Let's go back to Twitter. Let's go see what's trending. Saw an article about the call from Trump in Georgia where she pushed something that caused everyone to be like, bro, you let it go. You lost, let it go. That's all I know. Okay. Politics by Mitch is trending. Van Jones is trending. I'll tell you when I see something I give a fuck about. Romney. Tomey, what's that? Jim Parsons weighs in on straight actors playing gay actors. Don't give a fuck. Comey, Puerto Rico. Really don't give a fuck about Puerto Rico. Gives a shit about Puerto Rico. Judge denies emergency injunction to decertify election results in Georgia. California is scrambling to avoid blackouts? Fuck you. Why are we struggling to avoid blackouts? I would love to know. We shouldn't be having power issues right now. It's not the summer. The summer is when we have all the problems with power issues and blackouts. My refrigerator, you know what? Ugh. Why? All right. Let's see. Chuck Schumer replacing Mitch McConnell. One shithead for another. Cares. Great women of mathematics. What is there, like two people on that Twitter? Did you hear Pelosi and Mitch McConnell houses were vandalized? Yeah, that was a day or two ago. Been seeing some of the room memes about what's in the group I'm in. Joe Rogan fled LA to Texas. That's old. Old news, I mean. All right, let's see what's just regular trending. That was for me trending. People are recognizing former Georgia House Minority Leader and Fair Fight Action founder Stacey Abrams for her work in voter mobilization as Georgia's Senate runoffs continue. We finally got the answer to the meme. Finally figured it out. That's what it is. So she did a lot for voter mobilization, got a bunch of people to come out, so they're giving her credit. Okay. Uh, Asif. Sadist appreciation. World Juniors. This is a boring news day. Maybe we'll just tell stories today. Brandon Urie. Give a fuck. Favorite OP. The Bulls are trending. It's funny, whenever you look at regular trending, it's usually so different than it's almost always all entertainment related. That's all people really give a shit about. Why am I even wasting my time ever talking about politics? I should just talk about like entertainment news. I like movies and video games and cartoons and shit. Why don't I just talk about that stuff all the time? That's what's always trending. Bitcoin's emergence as digital gold could lift price to 146 grand. Wow. I've heard predictions of 300,000, 400,000. I heard that months ago. I've talked about it on here months ago. I deposited exactly $39. I forget why it was 39. I think it was because Jordan donated $40 to me via PayPal. And after the PayPal fee and shit, I had $39 in my PayPal. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to buy $39 worth of Bitcoin. And I did that as a few months ago, and it's gone up so much. Let me see. Let me tell you what my $39 investment has gotten me. Hey, man, it's something. Let me log into my Coinbase here. I use Coinbase. If you guys had taken my advice a few months ago, it's now worth $73.21. I've almost doubled my money. Bitcoin right now is worth $35,273. Miss B, I think there's probably other speculative things that would be smarter to do, but if you want to do what I did just for fun, this is what I suggest. You go to, this is for everybody. You go to zachwaldman.com/fans, right? And then when you do, you're going to see, if you scroll down, there's a link there for Coinbase. It's under affiliate links and it says Coinbase. And then it says get $10 in free Bitcoin, right? And actually, I'm curious if let me see if I may have this as a standalone. Oh, yeah, I do. Cool. Or you can go to zachwaldman.com/Coinbase. But the point is, if you forget that, if you scroll down under affiliate links, it says Coinbase. If you click on that link, what you do is you deposit $100. And then when you do that, they give you $10 in free Bitcoin. And we both get $10. I get $10 and you get $10. And then what you do is you just don't touch it. You just go, you don't want to start investing in Bitcoin. That's insanity. But if you want to do what I'm doing and just have a little fun, it's kind of fun to see that I put $39 in and now it's worth almost 80. What do I give a fuck about 39 bucks? So what's $100 going to mean in your life? So you put $100 in, then you'll get 110. And if it keeps going up the way it is, in a few months, your $110 might be worth 500. So there's a lot of people believe the price is going to keep going up. This is from JP Morgan. Let's take a look at it real quick. Bitcoin emergence as digital gold could lift price to $146,000, says JP Morgan. Let's see. It's a rival to gold. Could trade as high as 146 grand if it becomes established as a safe haven asset. Interest in the world's biggest cryptocurrency soared this year. Investors viewing Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation and as an alternative to the depreciating dollar. The rush led to Bitcoin prices more than tripling in the past 6 months to a record peak of 34,800. That was just January 2nd. It's even higher now. This is so interesting because so many people think Bitcoin is totally bullshit. And now you've got JP Morgan saying that Bitcoin's competition with gold has already started in our mind. Recent $7 billion outflows from gold and more than $3 billion of inflows into the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Yeah, there's a gas station. That's cool. They had an ATM for Bitcoin. But is it dollars or Bitcoin? And how does that later translate if I ever wanted to do something with it? That's the part that always confuses me. All right. You should watch, like, you should go on YouTube and just watch, like, Bitcoin for beginners or something. Like, so I don't bore the fuck out of people, especially since I'll be incredibly inarticulate about it. It's not like I'm an expert, but I can give you what I could tell you is if you were to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, so let's see, you say, is it dollars or Bitcoin? So let's say you connect it to your bank account and you transfer $100 from your bank account and now it gets turned into Bitcoin. It's actually a fraction of a Bitcoin. So, and yes, imaginary and money is imaginary, especially American money. And that's what people are thinking. That's why they're hedging against inflation, because they keep making more and more money, just printing it out of thin air. They don't even print it. They just go into a computer and add zeros that everybody's expecting, that America's going to look like Venezuela soon. Point is, to answer your question, Miss B, you transfer $100 of American money and you buy Bitcoin. So now you've got, if you do that today, $100 will, you'll see how much Bitcoin you get for, but you'll get a fraction of a Bitcoin. But then the value of Bitcoin goes up and down. So you could log in anytime you want into Coinbase and you could see, oh, now the Bitcoin I bought, it's no longer worth $100. It's worth $103. And maybe in a month you'll go, oh, look at that. It's worth $110. You could wake up one day and it could be worth zero. It could all come crashing down and it could be worth zero. But what did you invest? Like I told you, if you were really doing real investing, I wouldn't steer you toward Bitcoin. But for me, it's like, it's just kind of fun. You know what I mean? It's not, when you buy a stock, you're buying ownership of a company. So it's a company that the public owns, right? It's publicly traded. And so the value of it, a better comparison would be, God, I was listening to Peter Schiff talk about this. He said comparing Bitcoin to gold isn't really an accurate comparison. I think they're making the argument, not Peter Schiff. Some people are making the argument that it's a security, and some are making an argument that it's I don't know. They're sussing all of this out. So, basically Bitcoin gets its value from a bunch of people agreeing that it's worth something, Miss B. There's also only so many Bitcoins available. So Bitcoins are mined. They call it, mining Bitcoins. That's done by using computers that solve complex mathematical equations. And as they solve these equations, new Bitcoins are discovered. But the algorithm that was set up says that ultimately there's only going to be so many Bitcoins. And some have already been lost and they'll never be recovered. Someone had 100 Bitcoins on his hard drive and threw the computer in the dumpster, not realizing those were on there, especially back when Bitcoins were worthless. And they used to be really easy to mine. So when Bitcoin was brand new, when I fucking, it's one of the things I'm most furious with with myself is I knew about Bitcoin when it was brand fucking new, and you could have gotten thousands and thousands of Bitcoins for free, and you could have used your home computer to mine Bitcoins. You could have used your home computer to solve these mathematical equations. But as the equations got more and more um, complex, you needed more and more computing power in order to solve the equations. And with more computing power comes more energy consumption. So it's like not really feasible for me to mine Bitcoin in my apartment because the whole apartment would have to be filled with like graphic, with little computers with these GPU cards, these graphic processors, and it's I could never afford to do it. But there are bit mining companies out there that have like warehouses, filled with these computers that are all they're doing all day is mining Bitcoin. Uh, I let's see, yeah, I actually remember someone I knew in Vegas who was gifted 100,000 Bitcoins. She thought they were worthless. Now it's worth millions and they're all gone. What did she do with them? You met a guy the other day who mines Bitcoins. Yeah, that's people do that for a job. Um, yeah. So like right now, one whole Bitcoin is worth $35,152.66. So just over $35,000 for one single Bitcoin. So I have 72. Like I said, I deposited 100. I'm sorry, I deposited 39 rather. And I can't, this thing's too far away. Let's see. I own 0.0021% of a Bitcoin. That's how much of a Bitcoin I have. That's what 7291 looks like. Okay, now to answer your other question, if I wanted to right now, Miss B, I deposited $39. Now I've got $73. If I wanted to, I could transfer this money back into US currency. And I don't know if there's a fee or not with Coinbase. Let's see. I mean, I have no intention of taking it out, so I didn't even bother to look. But I don't know if there's a fee to take it out or not. But let's just pretend that there's no fee. Here, I could just Google it. Coinbase fee. Let's see. Wallet service is free of charge. That you can restore your United States cryptocurrency, no cost to you. Coinbase incurs and pays network transaction fees such as miners fees. Okay, so we do not charge for transferring cryptocurrency from one Coinbase wallet to another. So if you wanted to transfer cryptocurrency on some network, so transfers of cryptocurrency off the Coinbase platform, then there's a fee based on the estimate of their network resources, basically. Let's see. Buy sell transactions. Okay, if the total transaction amount is less than or equal to $10, the fee is 99 cents. If it's more than 10 but less than 25, it's $1.49. Let's see. So if it's more than $50 or equal, so $50 to $200, it's $3. So there's a fee of a few bucks. So if I wanted to take my money, I pay him a couple of bucks, $2, $3, but then I would have now more money when it went, it's worth more now. So I bought it for $39 and sold it at 73 or whatever I just told you I had. But I didn't, obviously I'm going to hold on to it. But again, for me, it's just fun. It's like she straight up lost them or threw the server out or something. She lost access to them. Man, that's fucking awful. Well, the famous story, and I actually remember the place at the time. There was, when Bitcoin was brand new, it was like, well, where can you spend it? Because it was like this idea, like, what if we all just agreed that this stuff is money and we limited the supply. And because there's a finite supply of it, it's not like you can just print more of it. It should go up in value as it's lost or whatever, right? That was the idea, simplified. So in the beginning, it was like, yeah, I've got thousands of Bitcoins, but what can I do with it? Well, there's a one pizza place where it's like the pizza guy will take Bitcoin for pizza. And like people would spend, yeah, and would give away like 5,000 Bitcoins for a pizza because they at the time that was like, where else could you spend them? That person had held on to them. You know what I mean? They're a millionaire now. So there's a lot of that stuff that's already gone and will probably never be recovered. It's pretty amazing though. I just wish I had, when I knew about it, I wish I had just said, well, who cares if it's worthless? The only thing I did is when I learned about it, there was a website where it was a Bitcoin thing where it was, if your business is willing to accept Bitcoin for goods or services, you can link it here. So I added mine. I was like, I'll get paid in Bitcoin. And this was forever ago. And it was when maybe a Bitcoin was worth like, I don't know, $100 or something. I'm like, somebody wants to pay me in Bitcoin, I would do a couple of gigs like that. I thought it was kind of cool. Never imagined what the price would go to though. I mean, it's but I guess you'd have to look up Peter Schiff's latest video. And he talked about, it was either his latest one or the one before it, but he talks about why he doesn't think Bitcoin and gold are good comparisons, even though they're constantly compared to one another. I mean, one reason I know he says it's a bad comparison is because gold is something you can actually do something with gold, right? It's used in electronics, it's used in jewelry. It's a physical thing that's useful, has a lot of purposes. Bitcoin is nothing. So he says that Bitcoin should really be categorized as something else, and I just don't remember what he said it should be categorized as. But considering how big the financial investment into gold is, a crowding out of gold as an alternative currency implies big upside for Bitcoin over the long term, JP Morgan said. Bitcoin's likely to outshine gold as millennials become a more important component of the investment market over time and given their preference for digital gold over traditional bullion. With a market capitalization of $575 billion, the Bitcoin price would need a nearly five-fold jump to 146 grand to match the value of private gold wealth held in gold bars, coins, or exchange-traded funds, the bank's note added. I found champagne with gold flakes in it that's in my fridge. You remember Goldschlager? That's before your time. I'm sure it's still out there, but yeah, Goldschlager was this liqueur or some shit that was popular in the late 80s, early 90s that had gold flakes in it. JP Morgan strategist said the upside's conditional on the volatility of Bitcoin converging with that of gold in the long term. JP Morgan sees the possibility of current speculative mania propelling Bitcoin to between $50,000 and $100,000, warned that such levels would prove unsustainable until its volatility levels out. We note that the spectacular Bitcoin rally of the past few weeks has moved Bitcoin into more challenging territory, not only in terms of its positioning backdrop, but also in terms of its valuation, the bank said. Bitcoin versus spot gold. It's crazy. Well, I think for anybody that wants to have a little fun with Bitcoin without being crazy, you go to zachwaldman.com/Coinbase, scroll down to and sign up. Here's the link. zachwaldman.com/Coinbase. Oh, I don't think that link. I have to do I had to throw in the HTTPS. There you go. zachwaldman.com/Coinbase. Go there, deposit $100 into your account, and you'll get 110 immediately. You're going to be up $10 just for opening a Coinbase account and depositing $100. And you'd be supporting me at the same time. It's a win-win. I get $10. We both get $10, and we both get to have a little. I got to tell you, even though I only started with $39 in Bitcoin from the donation I got from Jordan, it's fun to look at the headline and see that it's gone up in value. It's fucking fun. It makes me like feel like I'm a part of the world, you know? Instead of just looking at something and going, it's kind of like having a bet on the Super Bowl. It's like, yeah, man, I actually have a reason to give a shit about the outcome of the game, you know? It's I think so. Well, there you go. That's what I recommend. What else we got to talk about over here? Let's see what else is happening. Get a switch from Bitcoin. That was trending. That's how we got on that. The MAGA is trending. Republican state senators in Pennsylvania refused to seat Democrat Senator Jim Brewster, who won the state re-election in November. Jesus Christ. Mystical is trending. Should we bite? Do we want to know why Mystical is trending? Oh, that's why Tommy Lauren, whatever her name is. I was wondering why that was trending. I saw Tommy trending. I'm like, what's a Tommy? I thought it was the old video game thing. So she's catching flack because she said Democrats scrounging up votes from mystical places again. All right. Proud Boys leaders banned from D.C. and head of planned protests. It's all just now. Why is Tammy trending? Tammy and Tommy? I thought maybe Tammy was trending because people were like, in case you misspelled Tommy, we want to make sure you know how much we hate her. This NorCal hospital had 2 hours to give out 600 vaccine shots. I think that had something to do with their fridge or power going out or some shit, so they just started dispensing shots as fast as possible. Bird flu outbreak, great. It's all just, isn't this great, guys? No officers will be charged in the shooting of Jacob Blake. Are they rioting yet? District attorney says no Kenosha, Wisconsin police officers will be charged for shooting that paralyzed Jacob Blake and spark nationwide protests. So, do you think we're going to get more protests? Where did this happen? This was in Kenosha. That's right. And they wonder why we protest. Y'all constantly do us wrong and act like we're in the wrong for fighting for our lives and our rights. All right, so everybody's pissed off, as you can imagine. Tommy Laren. I don't think those cops will be able to go back to work, though. Texas man sent to trial with COVID-19. Jurors weren't told they were exposed until after the deliberation ended. Great. Wow, look at this. Look how backwards the world is. Qatar's leader and Saudi Arabia's crown prince hug ahead of summit between the countries. The fucking animals in the Middle East are getting along better than us.
وصول سمو الشيخ تميم بن حمد الثاني وكما نشاهد
That's
يهبط.
got to be scary to walk down those steps knowing that one misstep on that robe and you're going to go tumbling down. Hey, assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salami. I like a salami. Several of my friends lost family or friends after they got the COVID vaccine, suddenly contracted COVID and died suddenly within like 3 to 5 days. Anything on that news? I'm just morbidly curious. Several of your friends lost family or friends after they got the people you know personally, Miss B? You know people personally who after they got the vaccine died from the vaccine? I think that would be news. God, I got to take you to meet Eddie Bravo. You would get along with him good. Tracking the Rona vaccine rollout in the U.S. Will Trumpism outlast Trump? George has got the Rona 2.0. Most of the vaccines shipped are yet to be used. As Texans seek vaccine, Rona trends worsen. Well, that's crazy, Miss B. Let's see. Let's do a search for it. People die COVID vaccine. What is this? What do we got here? Ba, 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 ba. This is this is an article. We should give people a single vaccination now, defer their second shot until more doses become available. There's a supply constraint, Pfizer and Madonna. Okay, so this is all right, so that's not what we're looking for. My friends are the magicians, not the people who died, but it's been all over my Facebook. One American dies from the Rona every 33 seconds. Ba, 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 ba. Let's see here. Fact check. Social media users sharing a post that makes several claims of serious negative health effects from the Pfizer Bionic Man Tech Rona vaccine, including 6 people died during late stage trials. Claims are partly false. 6 people died during the Pfizer Bionic Man vaccine trials, but only 2 of them were given the vaccine. The other 4 were given a safe placebo solution of salt and water. No causal relationship was established between the vaccine and the 2 deaths, which occurred in line with the normal death rate for the general population. First person to get the vaccine in the UK is not in critical condition. 4 cases of Bell's palsy, partial facial paralysis were also not considered. That's better than Ball's palsy, where your balls are partially paralyzed. Not considered to necessarily be caused by the vaccine. The symptom will be under surveillance when the vaccine is distributed. There's been precautions added for allergic reactions. I wonder why they would even use a placebo, right? Anyway, the post says 6 people died in the late stage trial. 4 of the 6 died from the placebo. Why would Pfizer have to use a deadly placebo short of manipulating data? Warning over UK vaccine rollouts as 2 NHS staff. So, I mean, look, you're always, it sounds like more conspiracy nonsense. This is what all conspiracy theories do. They take something that has one tiny grain of truth, and then from that, they, create these insane ideas. Let's see. 6 participants died. By the way, that's out of 44,000 people. So 2 were given the vaccine while the other 4 received a placebo, which is just fucking nothing. This is water and some salt and shit. So the details were in the FDA documents. And one of them had a cardiac arrest 62 days after a second dose of the two-dose vaccination, died 3 days later. The other died from, oh, Jesus, arteriosclerosis. Hey, that's pretty good. 3 days after a dose of the vax. One of the placebo recipients died from myocardial infarction. Another from hemorrhage, stroke, and two others from unknown causes. So out of 44,000 people, you get some people that die from some other shit. The FDA says they were not related to the vaccine. None of these deaths were assessed by the investigator as related to study intervention. All deaths represent events that occur in the general population of the age groups where they occurred at a similar rate. So yeah, these people is 44,000 people, Miss B. So these people just fucking were going to die anyway because they had heart attacks and strokes and shit. It's Bell's palsy, allergic reaction. First person to take the vaccine's not in critical condition. The verdict, partly false. So if you have a history of significant allergies, don't take the vaccine. No causal relationship has been established between the vaccine and the two deaths, nor the Bell's palsy cases during the YouPorn trial. The first person to take the vaccine in the UK is not in critical condition. The placebo is a solution of salt and water. I got to look at this allergy thing. Let's see. Britain's medicine regulator. Anyone with a history of anaphylaxis. Oh, that's like those peanut allergy faggots. In reaction to medicine or food or with a history of significant allergies should not have the Pfizer Bionic Man vaccine. That scares me. I haven't had major allergic reactions. What do you say? What timing? But it's normal timing. If you have that many people and they're that old, that's the normal amount of people they would expect during that time period. It wasn't like the trial all happened in one day. You know, it was over a period of time. Looks like the Democrats are going to win those runoffs, though. I hope they do. And I want to know what the excuse is going to be when we watch the Democrats have full control, be fully in power. And let's see when things continue to get worse and things suck and our rights get taken away. By the way, same thing if they don't win Georgia runoffs. I don't think it makes a fuck of a difference. But seems to make people happy. I know it'll make a lot of my friends and family will be happy if the Democrats win the Georgia runoffs. So for that reason, I hope they win because it'll make them happy. I ultimately don't give a fuck because I don't think it's going to make a difference. I don't think anything's going to fucking change. I don't think these politicians care about us. They care about themselves. I don't think they were all old people, Miss B. Those people were older. And I don't know if everybody, it was 44,000 people. So let's say of the 44,000, 10 of them, 10,000 of them were 60 plus. And maybe you would expect out of 10,000 people, 60 and older, that 4 of them are probably going to just fucking die because, they're older. This is one of the reasons I think I had COVID is because of this brain fog shit. So let's read this article. Sure signs COVID invaded your brain, says study. Let's see. Mysterious symptoms, brain fog, loss of sense, taste, smell, even stroke, seizures, delirium. Identified the spike protein of the virus can cross over into the blood-brain barrier in mice. SARS-CoV-2 can invade the brain. What do we do about this? The spike protein, referred to as the S1, dictates which cells the virus can enter. Usually the virus does the same thing as its binding protein. So what do we do about this? It's intense inflammation, described as cytokine storm. So okay, so uh, Fauci, brain fog, difficulty concentrating, can strike those with COVID and is a primary symptom of post COVID syndrome, which affects a reported 10% or more of those who get COVID, fatigue, other cognitive issues, shortness of breath. I don't know, man. This shit makes me so freaked out that I think I've got everything all the time. What was the fucking headline that lured me into this? Because I haven't learned anything yet. I got lured in. It says, sure signs COVID's invaded your brain. So, what are the sure signs? The same shit we already know? All right. What about giving away your queen in a chess game? Trust nothing, Fauci says. Well, here's the thing, behead the politicians, let the system burn to the ground. I agree. I agree. Our rights are being taken away. I agree. Did you hear about the internet policing? They're going to make downloading porn and lewds and NSFW stuff a felony. I don't know what you're talking about. It's look, it's it's fucked up. I agree with you. Here's the thing: you got to be careful about saying "trust nothing." Fauci says. Yes, he keeps repeatedly lying to us. He is a liar. I agree with you that Fauci's a liar. We know he lied about masks, and we know he lied about herd immunity. And he admitted both times that he lied, and both times he said it was for our own good because he thinks we're all a bunch of children that can't handle the truth. But just because he lies sometimes, that was a conversation I would have with Eddie Bravo all the time. I would, his analogy was always if a girl, this girl's a dirty whore and she cheats on all of her boyfriends and she's fucked everybody in the neighborhood. When you start dating her, do you expect her to not continue to like be a dirty whore and cheat on you and fuck your friends? It's like, how many times does someone have to basically fuck you over before you know that they're going to fuck you over, right? And I'm like, okay, but sometimes on the flip side, sometimes dirty whores are victims. Sometimes a girl's a dirty whore. Maybe she's literally a hooker, but hookers can be raped and murdered and kidnapped and beaten and all, you know what I'm saying? So my point is with Fauci, just because he has lied doesn't mean you just throw everything out, you know? I think that's a big problem. It's why people get upset with me. It's like I agree with 99% of what they say, but I go, well, this one thing I disagree with. And it's like, no, you were all the way in my camp, or you're totally, I don't want anything to do with you, and you must be in the other camp. I uploaded a couple of videos today, and someone in the comments said something like, oh, are you sad Trump lost or something like that? Like he thought I was a Trump supporter. I was like, I hate Trump, you fucking moron. It's like, what would give you the idea that I like Trump, you fucking idiot? Boy, this is a fucking shitty show tonight. You know, it's probably because I'm not smoking pot. I just did the edible thing, and it's not getting me nearly. I'm not getting the high that I need. All right, let's try to find something fun to talk about. Um, let's see. Let's see what James Lindsay's up to. We haven't done any social justice news yet, and that's kind of my niche. Miss B, did you see my one of my videos that I uploaded a few days ago? Has got almost 6,000 views. I gained a bunch of subscribers. All right, well, let's see what this is. This is James Lindsay says this needs to go viral. Let's see what it is. From James Lindsay's Twitter, king of your mom. He's hilarious. He says, "This is amazing, needs to go as viral as possible. Take 5-10 minutes necessary to read it. It's so worth it. Let's do it." An open letter. Why I'm leaving the cult of wokeness by Africa Brooke. If there's one thing I'm not afraid of, it's being canceled. If being canceled means me living in integrity as a human being who thinks for, well, I should say herself, cancel me today. I repeat, I am not afraid. What I'm truly afraid of is existing in a world that forces me to submit to an ideology without question. Otherwise, I'm to be shamed or pressured to shame myself and cast out of the community. A world that tells me that because I inhabit a black body, I will never be oppressed and at the mercy of some omnipresent monster called whiteness. That because of the color of my skin, I am a victim of an inherently racist system by default, and me rejecting the narrative oppression means that I am in fact in denial. How empowering. As someone that comes from Zimbabwe, a country where the general population is truly oppressed, it perplexes me that oppression is now being worn as an identity piece in most parts of the West, especially by those who claim to be progressive. What I'm truly afraid of is existing in a world that forces me to consider the color of my skin and my gender and that of others at every fucking turn. Instead of living by MLK's teachings and prioritizing the content of mine and other people's character, I dread the prospect of a world where context, nuance, critical thinking, meritocracy, mathematics, science, and rationality are considered tools of white supremacy, and the rule is that you're not allowed to question or argue this senseless statement, especially if you're white. A world that is conditioning you and I to believe that we will always be trapped in some weird hierarchy because of our race, our genitals, our physical abilities, our neurodiversity, our sexuality, and our policies. And that if we do not agree on every single thing, it's a sign that we are interacting with an enemy, or at the very least, someone to be wildly suspicious and judgmental of, instead of another complex human being worthy of being seen and heard. This is exactly what I was just talking about a moment ago. What amazing timing. It's you can talk about everything, you can agree with somebody on almost everything, but if you present one fact that doesn't blend with their team's beliefs, their tribe's belief, it's not something they hear in their echo chamber or on their particular news source, then they don't want anything to do with you. They want to trash every utterance you dare utter in the next breath. It's like you have to be in total agreement or you're complete garbage. I wish this world, speaking of, was just a figment of my imagination. I remember when Epcot Center was brand new in Orlando, Florida, and they had Figment the dragon, this little imaginary dragon. I love that little guy. I wonder if Figment the dragon still at Epcot? I wonder what Epcot looks like now. Is that still a thing, or is that like walking through an antique now? Anyway, uh, she's saying that we're already in this world that she hoped was just a figment of her imagination. Our suitcases have been unpacked here for quite some time. This absolutist authoritarian world is being fiercely crafted under the guise of social justice. And I want no parts in this. I am out, as am I, which is why me doing everything I can to fight against this nonsense is a core tenet of my little show here. As someone that, politically speaking, leans left on most things, as do I, although I'm neither left nor right, I feel the same way. I should marry this woman. I got to find her. So far, it's like I wrote this myself if I was a black woman from Zimbabwe. The current state of affairs and this push for obedience at all costs is not what I signed up for. I never signed up to be hit over the head with disempowering narratives that tell me I need to refer to myself as a person of color. How is this different being called a colored person, a minority, a marginalized person, a BAME, UK version of BIPOC? And I can't stand any of these terms. Please if we ever need to address my racial identity, which we really don't need to do as often as you might think, black works just fine. It's not a dirty word. And remember, it's okay if the language I mentioned before is affirming for you. We are allowed to disagree, but for me, it does nothing but give me false reminders of my supposed oppression, which rubs me the wrong way entirely because I am not oppressed. You know, I I also agree with her when she says, "Why are we bringing this up so much?" Sam Harris talks about, wouldn't it be great if we got to a point where people's the color of their skin was like the same as their hair color? Like, oh, seeing a black woman would be like seeing a brunette or a blonde or a redhead. It's like it. And by the way, I feel like that's always been the case for me and 99% of the people I know don't give a fuck about people's skin color. It's these social justice racists, these racist justice warriors that make everything about race and gender and sexuality, et cetera, et cetera. And I, I, well, it's like that. I'm going to forget his name again. That guy that went on Bill Maher and said, "I don't want the world to be colorblind." Bill was talking about judging people as individuals and shouldn't we be striving for a colorblind world? And he said, "Let's see. I think it was this dude was on opposite Coleman Hughes. I think. Oh man, this gonna bug me." But he had Bill Maher had two black guys on, and one was more right leaning, and I think that's Coleman Hughes, and then the other one was more left. And anyway, the point is, Bill Maher was saying, shouldn't we strive to be colorblind? And this guy was like, no, 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 no. When people meet me, I want them to see me as a black man and to know the culture that comes along with that. I don't know why Bill didn't say it, but it's like, but which culture? Because there's lots of black people with different cultural backgrounds that are not the same as yours. Anyway, I just love this what she's written here. I think it's key that we begin to accept that black people don't all share a singular experience, nor do we share the same brain. Shocking, I know. We are not a monolith has become a common statement within communities that identify as marginalized. And while I wholeheartedly agree, we're definitely not a monolith. I've noticed that despite this being a popular mantra, when someone steps out of line or dares to think differently, it's a different story. You will often have the pleasure of being told that you are in denial and have some kind of internalized disorder, internalized racism, internalized anti blackness, internalized misogyny, internalized sexism, homophobia, transphobia, white supremacy, meaning nothing can be questioned. Fun, culty vibes. Honestly, by the way, I don't call it a cult anymore. I did years ago. It's become a religion because there's not one central cult leader, like L. Ron Hubbard or something. It's more a religion or a mind virus. Honestly, I want better for us because it's all getting a bit much in these social justice woke spaces. It scares me to know that it's become controversial to address any concerns or express a differing viewpoint. It's becoming dangerous to address reality. You either agree and comply or you shut up. I'm so happy that these are conversations that are now happening with many black people in my life, including my family, who spend very little time online and are willing to have healthy debates and couldn't give a crap about identity politics. These are the people who have really helped me free myself from the dogmatic thinking. It's necessary for me to mention that I'm having these conversations with black people because some individuals think that it's only white people who are pushing back against wokeism. And it's far from the truth. What is worrying, though, is how many more of us feel afraid to talk to our own friends, our partners, our spouses, our colleagues, our family, of fear of being branded as wrong thinkers. How are we supposed to understand each other if we're living in constant fear of saying the wrong thing? It's even harder if you're white because there's usually someone just waiting to call you racist. Oh, I get called racist all the time now. Years ago, that would have really meant something to me, but people throw that word around so much now, it's lost all its power. And according to the woke manual, if you're white, you're supposed to just accept that label. If you do question it or defend yourself, it's taken as a confirmation that you are in fact a white supremacist. That's exactly true. That's one of the doctrines of critical race theory and what they call being an anti-racist. She's exactly right. If you dare express any fears or signs of being rightfully upset, you'll be accused of centering your white feelings and of exuding white guilt or white fragility. I've done so many videos on this, but it's always good for me to spread this word again. But here it is again from someone else. And it's nice that it is coming from a left leaning, more independently minded black woman from Zimbabwe, and not for me. This is like, it's nice to have her speaking out because, I could say, look, I'm not the only one that feels this way. There's a woman from Zimbabwe agrees with me, so stop calling me a racist, you fucks. With all disrespect, I don't understand the purpose of these cultish, degrading, racist terms. How are they helping us move forward? Is this true social justice? How is this helping the black community? How is this shaping a world where you and I aren't judged by the color of our skin? Are we really trying to eradicate racism with racism? The literal definition of racism is prejudice against or antagonistic against or antagonistic toward a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular racial or ethnic group. And yet some people have suddenly decided that white people cannot experience racism, nor are they permitted to dispute this insane claim. This then leads to most white people choosing to not say anything at all, except if you're, a magician comedian that can't work because of the Rona and you live in LA County and you start a YouTube channel and go, fuck it, I got to do something. That could happen. Anyway, which creates resentment because that's the nature of suppression and self censorship. And some choose to comply and pretend they are on board with anything and everything, whilst also secretly resenting that they can't truly express their thoughts, ideas, feelings, etc. To me, all of this confirms that when it comes to wokeness, critical social justice, and the beast that is cancel culture, you will never win. You will never get it right. If you choose to stand back, educate yourself privately and quietly, you will be accused of being violent via your silence. If you speak out, ask questions, express valid confusion from the dehumanizing generalizations and character assassinations, you'll be denounced for centering your white feelings. This sounds like psychological warfare to me. This sounds like a very well written letter to me. I'm enjoying reading this because I feel like it's really written in a conversational tone and it's just succinct and wow, this is really just fucking well written. It's great shit. Anyway, this sounds like psychological warfare to me. It can be the only one that also finds this. I can't be the only one who also finds this language eerie. This is cult behavior. And for saying the above, I'm sure someone out there will lovingly label me a white apologist. This is where we're at, people. And like I said at the beginning, when it comes to this, I am unafraid. By the way, look, they call Martina Navratilova a transphobe. So it doesn't, I'm surprised I haven't been called anti Semitic yet. This is my open letter detailing some of the things that have led me to this point. Because if there's anything that this past year has taught me, it's that my well being and that those around me, including the collective, is infinitely more important than any temporary discomfort that might come from me doing what I know to be right. I also want to let you know that I'm not writing this to convince you of anything. Believe me, you can't, lady. I gave up on that a long time ago. Your agreement is welcome. I agree, but it's not a requirement. No, I do, though. I agree. Stop trying to push me away. I love you. I'm not writing this from a place of animosity or anger. Well, that's a shame because that's fun to do that sometimes. I mean, I try to have a good time, but sometimes it's fun to get angry. No, fight or fuck. Let's drink some tequila. I'm not writing this on behalf of any individual, group, movement, organization, or community. I'm not an activist, a social commentator, a feminist, an academic, or any other liberal apart from the ones I claim publicly. I don't even call myself a YouTuber yet until I can monetize my channel. So I'm with you, lady. Right now, I'm just an out of work comic magician. I'm writing this to free myself. I'm writing this for myself. And for you if you needed it. I did need it. Thank you. See, you finally stopped pushing me away. Just like you, I'm entitled to my own opinions. I have every right to question things that don't feel aligned with my values, morals, ethics, and beliefs. I have every right to push back if I recognize that I'm being forced to comply with ideologies and practices that don't make sense to me, which is how I've felt this past year. I don't want to live my life in a fearful and paranoid state. Remember Marvin, the paranoid android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? You might not know there was a song that Dr. Demento used to play called Marvin, I Love You. You should go look that up on YouTube. Great little song, a lot of fun. I don't want to spend my life thinking that everything that doesn't go my way is because of my skin color. The only thing that I don't like so far about this article is that she keeps spelling color Colour. That's a British thing, right? I don't want to spend the rest of my life unable to have insightful conversations with those that think differently to me. I really don't. I'm tired of hearing that because I'm black, I should feel victimized, that because I'm black, I should agree with everything that black people do and say. Surely no one should have this expected of them. None of these narrow definitions of human existence or blackness help me. None of it helps my community. It keeps us small, keeps us stuck, afraid, and defensive. I reject the idea that I am a victim. I reject the idea that I am oppressed. I reject the idea that white people only exist to oppress and should be reminding me of their privilege every 2 motherfucking seconds, while simultaneously telling me that they are above me. How is this helpful? If anything, it's deeply offensive and condescending. There's no question about it. Being black is a beautiful part of who I am, but it's not all I am, not even close. My identity, race, gender, sexuality, body parts will never be more important than my humanity, my spirit, my wholeness ever. I only agree with her partially there. For me, the most important part of me is my health and the ability to still get it up and fuck like a champion. Um, if I'm not healthy, there's nothing worse than not being healthy. But if I'm in a wheelchair in agonizing pain and I've got balls palsy, and permanently, and it's like fuck my humanity, man. Someone put a bullet through my head. But I hear what she's saying. Um, because of this, I fervently reject the idea that all white people are racist, must be shamed into confessing their sins and admitting complicity in all of their ancestors' indiscretions simply because of the color of their skin. I reject this bullshit idea that every white person's walking this planet is inherently racist. I love her. Do we even know what we're saying? Are we just regurgitating, parroting things? I am telling you, sir, this is a dead parrot. I'm telling you, it's stunned. Norwegian blues, they wake slowly. This parrot is dead. It's pushing up the daisies. And now it's gotten out of control. I honestly struggle to see how shaming others or shaming yourself for having white skin is an essential part of fueling true social change. Surely this is regressive. It also sounds a little like the very thing we spent years moving away from. We did. The truth of the matter is that my own ancestors have participated in some fuckery, and I would not want to live the rest of my life being punished for their actions. A lot of what I'm seeing in the woke critical social justice spaces is not about creating a better world. It seems to be about punishment and revenge. And it's doing nothing but trampling on the work true activists are doing and have been doing for centuries. I do have to take a moment to acknowledge those who are doing fantastic work and making a long lasting impact on their communities, like Zach Waldman, the out of work comedy magician who started a YouTube channel. He's adorable. I hear he loves me, and I want to love him too. I'll be visiting him soon in Santa Monica. Please subscribe to his channel, hit the thumbs up button, do all that stuff. He doesn't have 1,000 subscribers yet, but he's getting there. And listen, instead of, and he's an important guy, so support him. I love him. And he hates social justice warriors as much as I do. And instead of perpetuating fear and manipulating people's emotions by convincing them will always be victims, I'm done with this insidious brainwashing of wokeness. I'm committed to understanding human behavior. This is also at the core of what I do professionally. Also, Zach does that when he plays poker. So that's maybe something he'll do soon. All I know is I love him, but he needs to start bringing in some money. So, yeah, tough dating an out of work comedy magician. Just saying, people, if you want to support a black woman from Zimbabwe, make a donation to Zach Waldman, my boyfriend, because he is pretty fucking useless. Anyway, I'm committed to passion and kindness without excusing that which must be acknowledged. I'm well aware of the systems we live under. I know what's happening in the world. I've lived it. I acknowledge reality, but I refuse to be a slave to a disempowering narrative that rarely focuses on actual solutions, saline or otherwise. I was thinking about getting contacts. That's why I was thinking about saline solution. I never want to forget that you can still be compassionate with those you don't agree with. And this way of thinking is what I choose because it makes my time on planet Earth better. You don't have to take it on if it doesn't work for you. I want to live a life that isn't centered around identity politics and all that comes with it. So much more in my life, it takes priority. I want to remain open to new ideas, perspectives, thoughts, so I can grow, course correct when necessary, make a genuine impact on a local and global level, like Zach is trying to do with his YouTube channel. He knows sometimes he doesn't come off in the best way, but he's doing his best and he's trying, he's evolving, he's striving to be a little bit better every day. And boy, is he good at cunnilingus. Please give him a donation. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt and continue using discernment instead of making sweeping, harmful, often lazy assumptions based on the color of people's skin or their gender. I refuse to take on the black or white thinking because I've seen and experienced the grave harm that does. By the way, I wish somebody from the gay community would write the same exact letter and say, listen, we don't need a whole list of letters. Gay is fine. Just like she said, black is fine. All you need is gay. Gay covers it all. All right. If you want to throw in bi, that's fun. Those are fun people. But really, just gay and straight. We're good with that. It's white, black, gay, straight. Fucking winners, losers. As I move into this next season of my life, I'm more interested in the gray area where we all exist. Definitely UK spelling version of gray. The American spelling is A-Y. In UK, in British English, their thing, it's E-Y. I prefer E-Y as well. I usually spell gray with the E-Y. Both are acceptable. The nail in the coffin for me was all the events that took place last summer. Last summer, in the height of the BLM movement, I noticed a shadowy part of me emerging, and although I didn't judge it, I was comfortable with what was coming up. All the critical social justice dogma I'd been consciously and unconsciously imbibing over the past 2 years began taking a huge toll on my mental health. Hadn't even realized I wasn't functioning as a full human being until it reached its peak. The unpleasant internal experience I had is what led me where I am now, which is why I'm a firm believer that welcoming discomfort is one of the most moving is the most Jesus is I'm going to try this again. I'm a firm believer that welcoming discomfort in is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself. I need new glasses. On social media at the time, I was deep in various social justice echo chambers that shared more than enough infographic stories, feed posts, IG lives to make my fight or flight response go nuts. I was in constant fight mode and I wasn't aware. I was being indoctrinated. This means to teach a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. By the way, James Lindsay lied to me. He said 5 or 10 minutes for this article. I mean, it's a great article, but he said 5 or 10 minutes. And I'm reading pretty fast. Jesus. All right. I found myself subconsciously looking for things that would piss me off. It's a symptom of wokeness, seems to show up in many people. Hundreds of you have shared your own experience with me in the past month alone. Similarities in stories are alarming. Before reacting to things, I did zero in-depth research of my own. It's almost as if facts were an unwelcome guest. Anything that didn't align with the beliefs, just like conspiracy theorists, this is the same shit. Anything that didn't align with the beliefs I held about race, gender, sex, politics, I rejected. This was all unconscious. I didn't question the sources I was getting information from. It was all taken as objective truth, all reactionary. I was on autopilot. Didn't realize I had many people on pedestals. Shouldn't have been in the first place. Not their fault. I put them there. Was operating purely based on emotions. I see this in so many people. I rashly unfollowed some people on social media who I decided should have spoken up in support of BLM, an organization I have now done my own extensive research on, but that's a whole other story. Simply because, based on my ego time frame, they weren't responding as and when they should have. By the way, I know that I've lost friends and stuff. Probably not anybody. Well, I don't think anybody close. I think anybody that's a close friend of mine. I can't imagine I would ever have a close friend that's a social justice warrior. But I know there's people that have unfollowed me on Facebook or Twitter or whatever because I stand up against the racist justice warriors. Anyway, she said, I'm sure I reshared something about white silence being violence. It's an unfair statement. It's oversimplified. I don't agree with it anymore. She has a whole thing where she goes into it. She publicly shamed an unsuspecting man who messaged me to question me about my conduct. I immediately assumed he was white. He wasn't. And even though his approach was not a welcome one, he wasn't unkind to me, which is why I'm not proud of the unkind way in which I reacted, not responded the way I reacted. What frightened me was the applause I got from over 4,000 people when I called this man in an Instagram post. When I called out this man in an Instagram post, I didn't say anything wild, but I did deconstruct his direct message publicly with the intention to embarrass him, not to resolve anything, just to embarrass. I was honestly shocked by how many people used the environment I created to exercise pack mentality. This is almost verbatim what Jamie Kilstein said when he was super woke. And then when he went back on the Rogan Experience to explain, holy shit, I was indoctrinated. I was addicted to everybody, this crowd of people all celebrating, my Twitter wars and all the things I was doing. I mean, you see the same. I mean, what gives me hope is that I keep seeing people that are managing to escape this. But I don't know. This article seems to go on much longer than James Lindsay led me to believe. So I'm not going to continue to read the whole thing. I'll have the link if you want to read the whole thing yourself. But so why am I calling wokeness a cult? I say it's a religion, but she says it's a term, cult. It's a term that's been around for a long time. It's lost all its credibility and meaning in recent years. Woke, a term embedded in U.S. Black history and social justice, which originally meant being aware, well-informed, and up to date with what was happening within the community. Stay woke became a watchword in parts of the Black community for those who consider themselves self-aware, questioning the dominant paradigm and striving for something better. And these are the sentiments I will always stand for. However, this is not how it's playing out these days. And we know that. Okay, so the disempowerment of Black people masked as social justice. As a free-thinking Black woman, this is all, let's see. As someone who will never stop advocating for human rights, fairness, equality, access to resources, respect, independence for all, not just for people who share my skin tone and gender, I've come to realize that I do not need to be a part of any groups or wear any labels to make a positive contribution on this planet. It's also why I don't identify as a feminist. See, I agree with her. I don't want to belong to any team. That's why I don't belong to any political party. It's the same thing. There's a lot of self-righteousness. It was tiring. Wow. See, I'm glad I stopped reading this. So this is how the indoctrination goes. It usually starts with finding or attracting a vulnerable person, make him feel like he belongs, so he could trust you. Tell him what he wants to hear. After they become loyal, it becomes easier to sell outlandish concepts. Make them repent for sins they supposedly committed. Person regresses, relies on the leader or the ideology. They get cut off from other people. Blah. Okay, it goes on and on. Ba, ba, ba. There it is. So here it is. If you want to read it, it's let's see if there's any one little way we want to wrap this up. Uh when you do go beyond those nearly prescribed, okay, I encourage you to break out of any echo chambers, especially on social media, and explore yourself beyond your race, your pronouns, your genitals, your sexuality, your physical capabilities, your politics, those things that have their place, but there is so much more to you. In fact, when you do go beyond those neatly prescribed boxes, you become more secure within your identity. You I urge you to unsubscribe to anyone and anything that is stripping you of your humanity, your agency, and is proving to be detrimental to your mental well being. You deserve better. Let's never stop speaking up. And that, my friends, is why I keep fighting this fight, because we are at war with this mind virus, cult, religion, whatever you want to call it. So share that letter, especially if you're white and you're like, listen, the social justice stuff is nonsense. Anti-racist does not mean against racism. You don't understand. This is all part of critical race theory, and it's all rooted in this ideology of postmodernism and Marxism. And please, for the love of God, read a letter from a woman, a black woman from Zimbabwe, and read what she has to say, and tell me I'm a racist, because all I'm saying is what she's saying. And if you're a social justice warrior and you're watching this, as always, eat a big bag of dicks. I prefer that you read this letter and find a way to argue with it. But I always like to tell the social justice warriors to eat a bag of dicks, because I got to thank you, SJWs. You're the reason my videos do as well as they do. It's so easy to set you pussies off that I know I can always count on doing a story. That's one of the reasons I decided to niche down into making fun of SJWs. I'm like, I need a niche. I know, SJWs. They're so easy to fucking piss off and trigger. They'll all come, I hate you. Thumbs down, racist. Anyway, so yeah. And if you play soccer, eat a bag of dicks too. Yeah. Go ahead and leave your comments and bullshit below. You know what I'm saying. Let's see what's going on in the chat room. I was in a, let's see who's here. Oh, Miss B had to leave. Sorry. See you, Miss B. You're triggered. I'm not triggered. We need to end qualified immunity. I don't know. You think a lot of cops would stop shooting suspects in the back if they knew they could be held liable for it rather than taxpayers? I don't know. Most of the shootings are warranted. I mean, they just said they're not going to file charges against the cops that shot Jacob Blake. Obviously, they found it to be warranted. I'm not surprised. I said it was going to be found that way from the beginning. Let's see here. What's good, Exotic Gamer? Nice to see you here. There's a Facebook group from Uganda called No White Saviors. They have great posts attacking SJWs, like taking pictures of themselves helping poor black folk. Oh, that's hilarious. Gavin Newsom, son of the Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, has a nice ring to it. Let's see. Dana D'Armand. She's funny. I can hear somebody doing donuts outside my house, but I'm too cold to go look. Sounds fucking badass, though. She's awesome. I've been on 3 dating. This is my pal Trevor. I've been on 3 dating apps in 8 different states, and I've never once seen a woman's profile say if you voted for Biden, swipe left. it is pretty funny. Like I have, I've seen that. I don't do the dating app thing. I still have a girl that I'm clinging to, even though she dumped me. I have nothing else to do. I'm locked in my apartment anyway. May as well just cling to the past. So, Gavin pissed off SJWs with not picking a black woman to replace Kamala. Yeah. But anyway, I have friends in these dating apps that are like, yeah, every girl is like, if you swipe left, if you voted for Trump, no Trump voters. Trump has cockblocked a lot of people. But I'm sure if you live, but these guys live in California. I bet if you live in fucking some other state like Texas, it's probably like if it probably does say if you voted for Biden, you know, swipe left. Jen Kirkman, I'll make love to every man, woman, and child in DeKalb County. Thank you. Tucker Carlson appears to be having a total meltdown. Where the hell is a double like button when you need one? So this is all just pouring out. Is it official now? Let's see if it's official. They need to win both though. They've got to win. And again, I said like I have all kinds of friends and family that want the Dems to win Georgia, and I hate Mitch McConnell, but I hate Chuck Schumer for the millionth time. I hate them all, but I know it'll make my friends and family happy. Most of them. I have some friends it won't make happy, but most of my friends and family, not all my family either for that matter. It's an unofficial win for Warlock, but too close to call for Jackoff. Okay. So that's why it just seems like that was what it was, JB, when I looked at the start of the cast. Um, and it just seems the way Twitter is blowing up, people are so happy. I'm like, aren't you guys kind of happy prematurely? We don't know if Jerkoff Ossoff is going to win. I don't know anything about Warlock and Jackoff, by the way. I don't know anything about either one of them. I don't care either. I'm sure they suck. Uh, why anti-Trump liberals and centers shouldn't be criticizing for the left too? The anti-left. This Kathy Young is also on Team Anti-Social Justice Warrior. I love her. She actually did my podcast years ago. Nice lady. I probably won't read this article because it's probably just going to be everything. Oh, she actually wrote this. Did I retweet this for her? Okay, good. She's a nice lady. Russian, if I remember correctly. Warlock is a popular reverend from Atlanta Milk Church. Jackoff seems like a douchebag. Let's see, is this long? It's another fucking long fuck. It's not as long as the other one. Yeah, Russian Jewish American writer. Oh man. All right. I'm gonna read that later. What I need is I need a story that has the potential to go viral, and that's a great story, I'm sure, but it's going to be at all the stuff we already know. Scotland's leader says Trump can't visit the golf course during the Rona. You would not be welcome to visit Turnberry Golf Course. Dre's recovering nicely. That's good. I thought someone tweeted out that Dre was dead. Why are we talking about Huey Lewis? I love Huey Lewis. And TMZ's always fun. Let's see what TMZ is going to bring us. All right, so I thought something exciting was going to happen with that. We haven't watched TMZ together in a long time. What could we find here? What is this? I forget where the video. Oh, here it is. Videos. This is what we like. Fuck yeah! Oh, and Miss B's gone. Damn it! This is too bad. We got aliens.
In the Jewish religion, Manish Tanah Halayla Hazeh. Why is this night different from all the others? Why is this object different from all the others?
So this is really the very first object that came from outside the solar system that we've spotted close to Earth. And it was found in October 2017, 3 and a little bit years ago. At first, people thought it should be just like a comet or an asteroid from our
I really like this guy's office. It's really nice.
own solar system. It just was ejected from another planetary system.
And I like that he got all dressed up too. This guy's a real scientist. He's in a jacket and tie.
And
It's funny to me, people go on these like national TV shows, and just because they're at home and it's on Zoom, it's like you could make an effort to make your background look good, and you could put on like some fucking decent clothes.
astronomers observed it, but then as they collected more data about it, it looked very weird, unlike anything that we have seen before. It was pushed away from the sun by another force than gravity. And the question was, what is that force? Usually in comets, they evaporate. The ice on the surface of a comet evaporates and gives it a push from the rocket effect. But in this case, there was no cometary tail, and the Spitzer Space Telescope looked very deeply at this object, didn't find any trace of gas coming off it. And so the question was, why does it have an extra push? And we suggested with a postdoc that worked with me, Shmuel Bialy, in a scientific paper, we suggested that maybe the object is pushed by reflecting
This guy is everything a scientist is supposed to be. I love him.
sunlight. And the situation is very similar to a sail on a sailboat that is pushed by the wind. Here, light being reflected from the object is pushing it. Currently, we are
Holy fuck, it's a light-powered spaceship? That's pretty badass.
developing this technology, light sails, because it's very good for space explorations. You don't need to carry the fuel with you. You can push a sail by the sunlight or by laser light, and then you can reach very high speed.
Yeah, if this guy pulled a Jeffrey Tubin right now and just started jacking off, be like, no, you were so well respected.
Speeds with the spacecraft. So we said maybe that came from another civilization. Maybe it's artificial.
What was I gonna ask you guys? Oh, I know what it was. I was just gonna remind you. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me while you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the little notification bell, and choose all. And you'll know when I go live or upload a new video. My nose is whistling tonight. So yeah, man, while you're here, I appreciate, oh, someone did it. All right, cool. Thanks for hitting that thumbs up, whoever just did that. Thank you. That's very cool of you. And blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't even know what's next. Let's see what it is.
So Kendall and Kylie had an amazing vacation in Aspen. The house they stayed at is ridiculous. But my favorite part of the whole vacation is that Stormy is snowboarding. She's not even 3 yet. It's amazing. It makes sense why Kendall and Kylie are so obsessed snowboarding, it's the one thing they can do and nobody bothers them because you have no idea it's them.
Yeah, right. You see that body going down the mountain? I don't know who they are, dude. Are you kidding me? If you saw
Ah, fuck. I had my mic off by accident. I don't know what the last thing. I'm with you, bro. I don't know why anybody gives a fuck about this. I'm losing brain cells as we're watching.
Kylie going down the mountain, you follow.
And Kendall has like a Dior snowboard. Who has a Dior snowboard?
He's like
Snowboard, are you serious?
Yeah, it's like $5,000.
Kendall looks
It's
fantastic.
like $5,000.
She looks gorgeous, but you wouldn't know she's Kendall.
It's a nice place right there. I was saying that most of their backgrounds look like shit, but the graphics that they use around the screens, around the video boxes look really cool.
No, but you'd follow whoever it was.
Right. Like, I'm going to take my chances on that 6'4" model.
Wait, you guys are creepy skiers.
While your wives and children are at the top of the hill, you're going down after this girl.
Now I just yell up, good luck, Nixie!
This is why I have a YouTube channel, because if there could be a show that they spend this much time talking about this, then and make millions of dollars, I can shit all over it and make millions, you would think. The bar is pretty low, you know what I'm saying? They find themselves hilarious. All right, let's see what's next. This is just on autoplay. I have no idea what's coming, you know.
Prince Harry, he may look the same, but he is a completely different person from the person he was even.
Slam for being woke. Boy, it's... I didn't even have to go looking for this one, right, guys? It's so all wokeness all the time.
A year ago.
A shell of his former self, Charles.
Yeah, at least that is what someone who has studied him very closely, that would be a woman who was his biographer, Angela Levin. And she...
No relation, no relation.
No relation, yes. But she just kind of went off on Harry over the weekend, saying that...
Really, really went off on Harry.
It almost, I don't know, it felt...
I don't know what I care about less, shit with the royal family or former members of the royal family or the Kardashians or the Jenners. I mean, I know that's what TMZ does, but it's just...
personal, but she
Oh,
said
yeah.
I just want to know what he did to be slammed for being woke.
that he is a shadow of his former self. Said that he has lost all his personality. He is just now, what was the word she used about following in the woke ways?
Following in the woke ways of Meghan Markle, and that's what the biographer is saying, and she's basically saying that Harry had style and purpose.
Is Meghan Mackerel, is Meghan is missing mackerel? Is she super woke, I guess?
And was kind of a fierce guy just in terms of his view toward life, and that he is just sitting back right now in Montecito, and basically it's, you know, everything is revolving around Meghan. I think it's unfair to suggest, even if that's all true, that any of that is on Meghan. I mean, that would be Harry's decision.
Maybe he doesn't want to do anything. Maybe he just wants to bang her all day and let her go out and do whatever.
True. I agree with you, but it doesn't sound like that. That wasn't the tone of what I read
It
from
wasn't the
Angela
tone,
Levin.
but I don't
The tone
think
of what I read from Angela Levin was, this woman has completely sucked
Ruined
all
it.
the life out of him.
I think her
I just want an example of wokeness. She is pretty fucking hot, though.
conclusion is unfounded.
No. Happy wife, happy life. No. What it is happy life, no wife.
And I don't know that the facts that she supposedly
No wife, happy life.
gives are real, but it does seem, look, I mean, Meghan has not changed a whole lot in her life in terms of what she's doing professionally, socially, and whatnot. Harry's life has changed a lot.
Aside from leaving the royal family,
Aside from
aside from that small
Mrs.
thing,
Lincoln,
he's a father now, and and that's going to make him different. He's living completely different surroundings and making his way in the world on his own, right? Like, I mean, they don't have
Start of making your way in the world today takes everything you got. This guy was about to start singing the Cheers theme song.
the royal fortune. I'm sure he still has money. He doesn't have.
well, they made a big deal with Netflix and Spotify.
Right.
So
He's out there. He's out there hustling, making making money in Hollywood. So yeah, he's a little different. I don't know. I just again the tone of what I read was that this is on Meg, and I don't think that's.
What was the thing about the scary fairy ways, or what was it again?
I did think it was interesting that
Jesus, okay. This is the quality of your backdrop, your lighting, your audio, the framing of the shot. This is what you're doing, and you're wearing a baseball cap backwards. Why don't you it should just say douche right here, just big letters, douche.
She did mention what you guys were just saying, how they've kind of, they make sure that people, it's very well known that they're getting all these big offers. They have the podcast offer.
The guy looks like Steve Grillo.
They had, what is it, Netflix they're going to, or Hulu? I can't even remember. Anyways, they've made all these different...
It's funny, you see them like that, but at some time or another, he stood over her and just shot a big load across her face and humiliated her with just a batch of cum. It's like, look at us. But just imagine that. That's happened. He was huffing and puffing a lot when he did it.
Announcements about these different multi-million-dollar offers they've gotten in a time when people are struggling with COVID and losing their jobs and businesses are going.
I look like Steve Grillo. I'm a fucking douche.
Under. So she kind of mentions how, it's kind of insensitive, some of these things that they're doing as well.
Yeah, Harvey, the quote was Harry's life as an action man. He's jettisoned his life as an action man to become an airy-fairy do-gooder.
So here's what I think, because look, TMZ did a special for Fox Network on the royals when Harry and Meghan left. And I think what she's thinking about, almost rhapsodizing about, is, when Harry, for example, was in Afghanistan, I mean, we're going to play this for you because this was in the special. We talked to one of his fellow soldiers and talked about how Harry was just in there,
Never thought you'd defend
up for
a royal.
anything. So this is kind of the personality portrait that this guy painted.
When our tank broke down, the driver said something like, I think we need to suck some diesel out of the tank and put it in the engine. And Harry just, without pressure, volunteered to do it. And there's this mad situation where Prince Harry is literally sucking diesel out of a fuel tank. And, I'd be lying if I didn't say to myself, geez, that's Prince Harry doing that.
Exactly, and that's what he says to Meghan Markle. He's like, I'm Prince Harry, and you're gonna take my load on your face, and you're gonna think, oh my God, that's Prince Harry's load on my face.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was a really fun guy, like you say, Charles, fun guy, and he got married, he's had kids, he's had issues with the family, so she just, I think, is rhapsodizing about what it used to be like. But things have changed.
Hey, my name is Rachel from Kings Mountain, North Carolina, and I had a comment on the Prince Harry story. I think
this is the kind of woman I need to date right here. I was thinking about it. He probably wished Harry's gay. I think the kind of woman right here that would fight for you, cook for you, fucking take care of you when you're sick, laugh at all your jokes, would go to the casino with you, drink with you, go to the bar and watch live music. This is, I think I'm going to give up on gorgeous women. There's nothing but trouble.
the biographer is just a hater. Prince Harry is a
It's like that song, right? If you're gonna be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife.
Man, he's a wonderful husband. He's matured. He's grown up. Stop dwelling on the past. Like, let this man live. He's doing wonderful out there in California. I'm here for them. I love them. They're wonderful.
We needed
Her audio and video quality is just as good as the other guy from TMZ.
you to counter the biographer, so that was good.
I'm telling you, JB, I guarantee that woman's a fun woman. Say, hey, honey, you want to go to the casino tonight and play poker? Sure, doll, let's go on down there, and maybe I'll play some nickels while you play. All right. You want to drink some whiskey? I sure do, honey. You want to go hiking? No, I don't. Neither do I. You're perfect.
That's Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde not filming their new movie together. They're holding hands for real at a wedding. And everyone knows.
If you hold hands with somebody at a wedding, you are definitely a couple.
Yeah, easy you two.
Okay, I don't think I can take any more.
Really happening?
I got to tap out. It was fun while it lasted. A little TMZ to goof on, but there comes a point where it's just I can't. Merry Armenian Christmas. Trump's lasting legacy. GOP lost the House, Senate, and presidency in 4 years. Pretty funny. Honest question. Are sane people in the minority in the United States right now? I would say it's about 50-50. George Wallace.
Y'all, Georgia went blue. We did it. Warnock and Ossoff are in. We did it, y'all. Georgia is changing the world. We did it. I love you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And whatnot. Whatnot is a big word. Whatnot is a big ass word, y'all. Ooh-wee. And I don't give a damn.
I've always liked him. That's pretty funny. I cannot get over people like Stacey Abrams. She responded to a personal loss by working even harder for the greater good. What better quality could you ask for in a leader? Target shop allegedly shot customer dead over dispute. Well, the place is called Target. I mean, it's in the fucking name of the store. You're taking chances. What happened tonight in Georgia and the way it happened is the ending to the Trump era that we deserved. Now there's a chance to do some real good that can last for generations. Again, why is it? Am I missing something, my friends? It seems like everybody is so sure it's over, while they're saying one's too close to call. Okay. A major grocery store called its workers first responders early in the pandemic. TikTok user sparks outage telling men who can't get women in America. All right. Let's see what he says. Let's go to Asia. All right, let's watch. How are we not going to watch?
So any of you guys interested in dating or knowing or marrying a beautiful Asian girl, and I mean like a girl out of your league. Let's talk about that kind of girl, okay? The first thing I can tell you is they're in Asia. They're not here.
I got to say, I think I got to tell you, pal, every girl is out of your league. Look at this fucking hair. That can't be real, right? That's got to be a toupee.
Okay, the ones that are here are like not cool, not nice. I rarely meet a sweet one.
That's true.
Kind of like they want to get here. So if you're going to be the guy to help them get here, they'll be a king to you, and you can have them.
Whoa,
gosh,
queen. I don't want a king. I want a queen.
I mean, probably 5 years or so, maybe 7. And don't worry if they dump you. The guys get so worried. Oh my God, she's going to dump you. Well, duh, of course she is. But that's like 5-7 years down the line. And when that occurs, just go get another one. Don't worry. There are lots. I mean, like many, many, many.
Billions. And his username is Citizen Attorney 1. It says he shared a disgusting video telling other men who can't get women in America to go to Asia to find a wife. Well, disgusting, that would be your opinion. He acting like they dogs you could pick up at a pound. They probably are in Asia. Depends if you go to where you go, right? If you go to Thailand or something. Let's see. In this video, he mentions the one in America are not cool or nice. He rarely meets a sweet one. He mentions the people. They're sweet for a little while. Most of them are just fucking batshit crazy. He mentions people not to worry if they dump you or leave you. There's lots of them. All right, we got to look at the comments, I guess. I haven't been uploading shit to Instagram. Let's see. How do we look at the comments? Oh, here we go. I don't know why that was doing that. See Asian women, commodities, castration. First thing we tell you is fix your wig, bruh. That's what I said. I said that was a fucking wig. That's what happens when they go over to Asia and then something happens later. This is what happens when they... I got to make this bigger. I can't see shit. This is what happens when they go over to Asia and then something happens later on. Rejection, I don't know. These guys then lash out. Plenty of articles on Next Shark. This is what happens when they go over to Asia. A lot of Asian women don't help the narrative either. Oh boy, this is hilarious. Some white men feel so inadequate they have to go overseas and pay for a woman. I know a few people that had Russian wives. One of my friends, he's been with his Russian wife for like 30 years or some shit, 25 years. And he went over to, he started out being friends like, shit, I think old school writing letters back and forth, and then went over there but they've been together forever. And he was a good looking guy. He didn't have to go to Russia for a woman. I'm not really sure why he did, but it worked out for him. Anyway, I was once dating a guy whose best friend exclusively dated Asian girls from Asia. He said it was because they were better, nicer, classier. I called him on it when I finally met him, and he was saying that garbage to my Asian American face. Disgusting. Well, you're not a real Asian girl, though. You're from America. You're an American girl. Let's see what the replies. Okay, bro. Power to him. I love watching people get trolled like this. I wonder if this guy's for real. I wonder if he put a horrible wig on purpose. What do you think? You think it's like a character? You think he just trolled everybody, or do you think this guy is for real? "90-Day Fiance" kind of proved his points. If Ed was an actual normal dude, he would have been Gucci. I never watched 90-Day Fiance. A dying wallet. Oh, him, a dying wallet. Her, an opportunist Asian woman. I feel sick watching this. Well, you're pretty fragile. So he goes to buy a wife, bring him back to the U.S. They adjust to U.S. work, get their citizenship, then leave. He goes back, buy a new wife. Cycle continues. Sounds pretty good. Too funny. All these views, there's got to be way more comments. Where the fuck are all the comments? Whatever. Pretty funny. That was a good laugh. Oh, here's some more comments. Men like this still exist. He also happens to be a lawyer. Of course, all lawyers are pieces of shit. Don't you know that? And somehow people think Asians aren't people of color. I just have no words. I made the mistake of looking at his other TikTok videos, Vile Excuse for a Human. I almost dated a military guy like this a few years ago. Wait a minute, he's got more? Hold on. We got
The ones that are here are like not nice. I rarely meet a sweet.
The sweet Asian
she's
woman
hot.
trope. Like my sweet homegrown Korean mother, 4'11", 87 pounds, sopping wet. I mentioned that my sweet Korean mom once beat the shit out of a pack of girls who followed her home and tried to bully her. That the last man who got on her nerves, she told him he made her physically.
Okay, you're on my nerves. It's like, shh, don't you understand? We want to. This guy's talking about women that actually live there, not Asians that are born in America that have been corrupted with, value 2021 values. Let's see what else does this guy have. What the fuck? This is not the same guy. Why are we on this guy's page? What are we doing here? Jackfruit. Or maybe this is the correct one. Let's see. I don't know why I can't get the audio to play. Come on, you piece of... I gotta make it smaller, I guess. Hold on.
Styles used to play. They each have a beautiful and culturally significant design on them.
Ooh, I don't know if those designs are playful and stylish enough to stand the test of time. I mean, where's the personality?
It's okay. I'm sure one of my great-great-grandchildren will give it a respectful refresh if absolutely necessary.
Oh, Mahjong.
Oh, what the fuck? Hey, dude, what are you making?
I have a Mahjong set.
Oh, this new game I invented called Mahjong. Cool. What are those? Oh, these are the tiles you used to play. They each have a beautiful and cultural...
Okay.
Cause I don't wanna lose you now. I'm looking right at the other half of me. This vacancy that's...
The fuck are we watching? Alright. Isn't this the same?
So, any of you guys interested in dating or knowing or marrying?
So I'm confused. Whose actual thing is this? Seems like it actually belongs to an Asian guy. So confused. Anybody else confused? Having fun fucking around on the internet, though? That's what we're doing, right? You think everybody's in Instagram jail? That's funny. All right, guys, I think we're about done. Wow. Aerial footage from LA reveals long lines of cars waiting to get COVID tests. Seems like genocide? What is this? This seems like genocide. Billionaire investor Bill Ackman slams delay in getting the COVID vaccine to the elderly. Billionaire investor Bill Ackman tweeted on Tuesday slamming logistical failures in the U.S. vaccine rollout. If Elon Musk can deliver 500,000 Teslas and Jeff Bezos can provide same-hour delivery, we can vaccinate every American. As of January 4th, the U.S. has vaccinated fewer than 5 million people. Billionaire investor Bill Ackman tweeted criticisms of the U.S. rollout of the COVID vaccine. He called it a failure of logistics and mismanagement during the transition in a series of tweets. We're weeks into stage 1A and millions of vaccines are sitting in cold storage while 4,000 people die a day. Why don't we launch mass vaccinations of our elderly now? First come, first served if you're over 75. Why are they not calling in all of these experts in logistics and saying, hey, we need you guys to help us figure this out. Let's get all the brilliant minds together and Figure out how we can get this shit out quick. I don't get it either. It's like, really? They're making it faster they can give it out? It seems like genocide. We're killing the greatest generation due to a failure of logistics and mismanagement during the transition. If the virus killed mostly children rather than the age, would we sit back and allow this to happen? Wow. He's fucking...
One of my favorite things about the holidays is
No one gives
celebrating
a
with the
fuck.
ones that you love.
Shut up,
And
whore.
what could be better than thinking of ways to include everybody in on the holiday?
How about you jump off a fucking bridge? I like what he's saying here. Give him a little retweet. How'd we end up on Twitter again? Back to Yahoo. Let's see. Beats by Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre. This guy says, doctor resigns after 20 years over Seattle's hospital's alleged use of racial epithets. Really? It's replete with racism, disregard for people who don't look like him, leadership. People use racial epithets. Really? So you're a big baby, you can't handle bad words? Aww. He says a minority colleague was fired without explanation. Another claims she was pushed into resigning. Well, then that's different. That's a whole different thing. I wonder if it's true, though. In this age of wokeism, I don't know if I believe them. They've cried wolf too many times, these social justice assholes. I'm really hungry. What should we eat tonight? It's about that time, my friends. Anything you guys want to talk about before I bail? Before I end this little debacle of a cast? Anything on your minds? Any recommendations? Anything at all? You're out. Have a good one, JB. Appreciate you stopping by. If you are still here, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, hit the little notification bell, and choose all, and you'll know when I go live or upload a new video. If you want to support me, I would really appreciate it. You just go to zachwaldman.com/fans, zachwaldman.com/fans. And when you go there, you'll learn some easy-to-do bar bets, magic tricks, and uncensored exclusive content that's only available there. Even if you don't join the fan club, there's all kinds of things that are absolutely free that you can do to support me, and I'd really appreciate it. So please go to zachwaldman.com/fans. Gonna play you out with a little Reverend Carl because that's the way we end every night's show. Thank you all so much for supporting me, for being here. I do appreciate it. And as always, I love you all more than chocolate cake.
It's 2 a.m., 14 below, it's closed. My work is done, but I'm feeling low, and I wanna play the night away, the night away. I can't stand to be alone. I gotta bring over some people to fill up my empty home. Yes, I do. Yes, I do now. I'm having a party, having a party, having a party. I'm having a party, people. And a party, people. Well, well, well. Put out the word to the chosen few. I got the SMC, my friends, bring your choice of brews, your choice of brews. The buzz is on and the mood is set. The candles burn as the turntables turn by the TV set. Yes, they do. Yes, they do now. Having a party, having a party, having a party, having a party, people, having a party, people, and everybody's getting down now. Party people, having a party, having a party, having a party, people, a party, people. Well, the monster man is feeling smooth, while in the mirror he's busting moves till he finds his groove, till he finds his groove. A Johnny Poet is feeling numb. He's gonna drink until the sunlight comes out to play. He's always running away. Where are your shoes today now? Having a party, having a party, having a party, we having a party, people, and everybody's getting down now. Party people, having a party, having a party, we having a party, people, and a party, having plenty of fun. He's been drinking them 21s like they're going out of style. A jungleberry is scabbing tabs. He'll smoke all the weed you have if you let him away with it. Let him away with it. Let him away with it. Away with it. Away with it now. Having a party. Having a party. Having a party. We having a party. Dressed in plain, he'd like to bop the night away, cause he's come a long way from that Ventura County girly girl by the telephone. She's been waiting on a man to call so she can share her love, share